Hey everybody, today I am going to show you a Web 2.0 tool called Book Creator. This is a program where teachers can set up libraries and have their students create books online, essentially ebooks that could be used for all kinds of lessons and learning. And I'm going to start kind of just with a quote by Wiggins and McTeague where they talk about being able to connect learning to a real world context and have students create an authentic product will create a deeper level of learning. So, a lot of the things that we do, our students take assessments to assess their learning, or they write things, or they hand in things on paper, and their teachers are the only ones that ever see them. And many times, students have no idea how these assessments and the things that they have learned connect to the world outside of the classroom. And so, Book Creator is a program that allows them to create a product similar to a product that you might see in your everyday life in the real world. So it's a more authentic type of assessment. It can be used in a variety of ways. So this is the basic platform. There are several versions of this program. There is a free version that allows teachers to have 40 books and only one library, so it's pretty limited. The version that I'm going to show you today is $60 a year. Teachers can create 3 libraries with 180 books total. It also allows students to collaborate in real time, and it supports co-teachers. And if you run out of space, you can delete books or archive them or publish them to the internet. So there's a lot of options there. So a basic overview, teachers set up their libraries, and then students join with an invite code that you can display on the screen. And it's very simple to use. It's very easy to use. And this is an applicable program not just for a language arts classroom where the obvious assessment is having them create a book or write a story. But I've seen this used in all kinds of ways, including having students present information that they've learned in science class or social studies class, present math information. There's all kinds of things you could use this for. So I'm just going to kind of click in one of these real quick so you can see what it does. Students can add text. They can change the formatting. They can add colors, images, backgrounds, all kinds of things. And then as you flip through, it reads just like a book. So the students can flip through. This is one that my students did on a Black History Month project. So this was pretty cool. One of the really neat features is allowing students to record their voices. So here's a little snippet of our students doing a first-person point of view interview with Langston Hughes that, of course, they made up.
As everyone knows, police brutality is a major issue in the U.S. Black men and children are at risk every day of their life, all because of one difference: their skin.
So in particular, what's cool about this is students can be very creative. I'm going to show you some basics on how they can use this program in a minute, but let's kind of talk theory for a second and just kind of the more scholarly approach to what this program does. So I really believe that the tool definitely helps enhance the 4 C's of learning, especially 3 out of the 4: communication, collaboration, and creativity and innovation. Communication, because they have to communicate through text and through all kinds of ways to show their learning. They have to communicate with one another. And according to the 4 C's article, communication and collaboration are interconnected. They're impossible to tear apart. You cannot collaborate if you can't communicate. And this program, as you see down here, has a collaboration feature which allows all the students to work within one platform to create their book. And so that really gives them the opportunity to work with each other, to come up with ideas together, and things like that. And so, and then of course, creativity and innovation. It's really, really important that our kids are able to be a part of the creative process. According to the 4 C's, that's a thing that our students are going to need. That article talks about the future belonging to a very different kind of person with a very different kind of mind. And the author, Daniel Pink, goes on to say that creators and empathizers, pattern recognizers, meaning makers, these people will reap society's richest rewards. And if students leave school without knowing how to continuously create and innovate, they will be underprepared for the challenges of society and the workforce. So I'm going to show you a particular unit for our students that we did and why I think this program was so helpful. So the first semester, our students have to write a narrative, and usually that's a really long essay where they have to create a story. And that can be a really complicated process, especially for my ESOL students, to write an entire story from scratch. And so we decided to use this program to have our students write a children's story. Everybody has read a children's story, children's books with pictures and images, and usually they tell a story, but they also communicate some type of theme or lesson. And so instead of just teaching students what the word theme means and having them be able to pick out a theme in different stories, we knew that if they could write a story, create a product that had a theme, that could show that they had learned what we wanted them to learn. They actually created an authentic product. And so our students in groups had to come up with some characters, come up with a storyline that where their main character learned a lesson, and then they used Book Creator to create their book. So here's one that I'm going to show you really quickly. This story was written by some students, and they called it Bun Bun. And I like this story for a couple reasons. One is that it was a good story with a really great theme, but all of these illustrations were hand drawn, digitally drawn by one of our students who's a fantastic artist. So if I had just told them to write an essay, we would miss out on that one student's ability to create and innovate. And this is a real world job. There are people out there who illustrate books for a living. And so it was really cool that this entire product came from the students and their creativity. Just amazing, amazing drawings. And so they were able to create and innovate through this program. One other book that I'll show you, the students did kind of some more simple hand drawings, but still really cool. Maybe I missed it. So anyway, this allows them to create. Now, they had to come up with a story together, and so there's that collaboration piece, working together, communicating, agreeing on ideas, and making that meaningful knowledge. Another important thing that I think that Book Creator allows students to do is to make their thinking visible. And there's a phenomenal book by Richard Church and Morrison called Making Thinking Visible: How to Promote Engagement, Understanding, and Independence for Learners. And in that book, they talk about how it's really important to give students opportunities to think out loud in a way that demonstrates to themselves where they've grasped concepts and where they might still need help. So one of the things that they says is that thinking leads to true understanding, and that the major goal of making thinking visible is to facilitate greater understanding among students and enhancing students' engagement and independence. And that if we're able to uncover students' thinking, it gives us insights to their own insights as well as their misconceptions. And so one great thing about this is they were able to make what they knew visible in a platform to me, but also the rest of their peers. And so as they wrote their book and they're reading each other's books and they're seeing each other's products, they're able to see places where they might not be understanding a concept, like, oh, this student did this, and that's not the way that we did it. And maybe we're off. We don't really have a clear theme like they did. And so instead of just a test or something that they turn into me, they're getting to see other people's thinking through their authentic products, and they're getting to kind of gain understanding from other people. Another quick article that I read was by Jay McTeague, and he talks about to properly understand, to show that you understand a concept and to have long-term transfer, students have to have more opportunities to create authentic, performance-based products. And Book Creator really allows you to do that. It really allows you to give your student a space to, at the end of a unit, create a product. And like I said earlier, I have seen teachers at the end of a science unit use Book Creator, where students had to create a presentation that summarized their knowledge, that labeled things, that demonstrated their learning. There's all kinds of amazing things that you can do with this. Now, as far as a critique, I really love the program. I think the biggest limitation is that the free version doesn't offer you that collaboration piece. So if you want the collaboration piece, you have to pay for the program. And there's really nothing that I would change other than that, having a free version that gives people more opportunities. So that's a quick Book Creator. I hope that you enjoyed the presentation.